Mike, Dr. B here. Welcome to Dr. B Uncensored, where we interview candid thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and founders to tell their story to inspire others to do the same. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Dr. B Show. I am your host, Dr. B. I'm here with the great Isaias, right? Rivera.
That's
How you doing, brother?
Man. I'm doing good, man. Better than I deserve, right?
Excellent. Good, man. Tell everyone about yourself.
Good. So we're just practicing, testing, right? Testing.
No, this is live.
Oh, I thought you were testing.
Not live. No, we're not.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This will be edited later. Go ahead.
Okay.
Tell everyone about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm glad you asked me that question. People often ask me, like, why? Well, what is it that you do? And I think to help you understand what I do is very important for you to realize why I do it. I think it helps put it in perspective.
Right. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. This will be edited out.
Yeah. Well, technically, the fact that they're closed, they shouldn't be coming in unless they have a pass. Unless somebody else is
Got it.
telling them.
Got it. Okay. I don't know why they're doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not even supposed to.
Oh.
I would just tell her not to.
Not to. Okay. Got
just
it.
to be safe.
Okay. This will be edited out.
Because only business owners can be here.
Okay.
Unless they have an appointment or something. Yeah.
Got it.
You want to tell her.
All right, we'll do.
Yeah.
All right, we're rolling, but it's all right. This will be edited out.
Yeah.
All this stuff will be
Yeah,
edited out.
we'll start it again. Yeah.
Hey, man, don't let no one else in, all right? Don't worry about it, okay? They have to have a pass. All good. Sit down. And I'm recording, okay? So, stop. All right. All right, ready? All right, take it from the top. Go ahead. We'll do it from the top. This will be all edited out.
Okay, no problem. All right, well, I'm so glad that you asked me that question.
Yeah.
And I think before I tell you what I do, it's very important for you to understand why I do what I do, because that helps put in perspective everything I do.
Yep, absolutely.
Let me tell you how it all started. So in 2011, back in, mind you, this is a couple of years after college I graduated, and I was working for the mayor of Orange. And at the time, I was the only Latino in his administration. And he was invited to speak at the Hispanic Gala event. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't make it. So, of course, what he does? He calls his staff and he looks at me. He says, Isaias, I can't think of anyone better to represent me. Could you speak on my behalf? Could you represent the city of Orange? And I was flattered. I said, sure, I would be more than happy to go ahead and represent the mayor and represent the city. Of course, in a Hispanic Gala event, you soy Latina, these are my people, I can definitely go ahead and do this. At the day of the event, it was in Newark. I still remember. It was by Market Street, one of those big, tall buildings. Mm-hmm. It was all the way at the top. Yeah. Beautiful view of the city. Mm-hmm. Chandeliers, everything. And it's a gala event, so I wear a nice black tuxedo. Yeah. I go to the event, and I'm having the time of my life. Talking to people, I'm networking, meeting lots of people, and the food was amazing. Great Latino food. It wasn't like some regular catering food. Latino food. I'm talking about arroz con gandules y pernil. They had all the good stuff. They had all the good food. Yeah. I'm sitting at my table, having the time of my life. Mm-hmm. And then the president at this Hispanic Gala Foundation, he gets on the mic and he says, unfortunately, the mayor couldn't make it today. But we have someone better. I'm like, wow. And then he starts hyping me up. He says, we have a rising young Latino here with us in the state of New Jersey. Let me introduce to you Isaias Rivera. And thunderous applause. Everyone is clapping for me. And I tell you, I was ready. Mm-hmm. I was excited. I was bold. I was confident. Mm-hmm. And when I got up there to speak, I gave them a pathetic speech. It was horrible. It was bad. It was so bad that the president of that foundation, the one who was hyping me up, he wouldn't look me in my eyes. He just looked at the floor, embarrassed to even have introduced me. And I was devastated. It was horrible. I go back to my table. Even the people at my table, they were looking at me like, man, we got to sit next to you.
They were embarrassed.
Right. But I remember driving back there on MacArthur Highway, driving back to Elizabeth. No music, nothing. Just me in the car, and I was just reflecting. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, I will never, ever let this happen to me again. Okay. Never again. And that lit a fire on me. Right. And from that point on, Jairo, I spent years upon years studying, reading, analyzing the art of public speaking. I spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on courses, on storytelling, on coaches, on mentors, and then I finally cracked the code.
Nice, I love it.
And in 2020, I started my business, the Rivera Speaking Academy. And now I coach CEOs, I go to different organizations, I help them with their communication skills. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is because no one should have to go what I went through. Because I know what it feels like. And I let my long road be your shortcut.
Wow, love it. I got it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about all the coaching and all that, right?
Yeah.
So you also went to Lafayette College, you got your BA for government and law, you went to WGU, got your MBA. Of course, you spent thousands like me on masterminds and all that. So
Absolutely.
How did that all help you in what you're doing today?
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting. As far as the MBA is concerned, when I was in college, I really wanted to get into government and public service, and I still do.
Yeah.
That was something that I really wanted to get into. But then I learned years later that to get financial freedom, you gotta have your own business.
Yeah.
You gotta start your own business. So that's really why I invested in getting my MBA. And I still remember I remember one night I was in my kitchen room and I was looking at numbers, finances, and accounting, and my eyes were like, I couldn't take it anymore.
Sure.
My son was 2 at the time. And he had this bad habit of waking up in the middle of the night, crawling out of his bed, and he would go into our bedroom because he wanted to sleep with mommy and daddy.
Sure.
So one night I'm doing numbers and I just like, I can't do it anymore. And then all of a sudden I hear a sleepy little voice saying, Papa, what are you doing? I'm like, no, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's time for you to go to bed. And he was like, no, Papa. I said, yes, Papi. And then he points at the screen at my laptop. And I was like, yeah, Papi's doing some work. Right. And then he just looked at me as if to say, well, why? Why are you up 1 o'clock in the morning? It's bedtime for you. And then I just looked at him. And if he had been there, if he had been sitting on the other side of that kitchen table, you would have seen him just pick him up boy and say, I do it because of you. Put him to bed. And I remember that night, I worked really hard. I completed all of my modules. And I got my MBA in 11 months.
Wow.
But despite all that, the reason I'm sharing that with you is because my son taught me a very important lesson that night. And that he added value to me. And then I realized that my 2-year-old son at the time could add value to me as an adult. Well, guess what? Me and you, everyone, we can add value to others. Right. And so even though I did my MBA to start my business, I came to realize it's about adding value to others. And you probably know this too. When you add value to others, you become valuable.
Yeah, that's true. So, I know all about that now, in my community. Awesome. You also volunteer for the Commissioner Planning Board, member of the City of Elizabeth, board member, Elizabeth Public Schools. So why give back? So why give back? Yeah,
I'm a strong believer in public service. It's a noble act. And the fact that I was born in Ecuador and raised in Elizabeth. And so I really wanted to give back because I went to school here, I grew up here, and I was raised here, and I really felt the need to give back to my community. So that's why I go ahead and I serve in the planning board for the City of Elizabeth. And you think about it, now you could go around this town, and including this building, I can say that I approve that. I was a part of that. And that's just giving back to the community. And certainly for the Elizabeth Board of Ed, it's really giving back to the kids, giving back to the children, because I learned firsthand the power of giving a lending hand, that every child should have a lending hand. Love it. So that's why one of the reasons why I serve in the Elizabeth Board of Education.
I love it. Good. That's awesome. I also serve on several boards, and I know I love giving back, and that's all part of it. And it's good karma too.
You have to. And it's just you get a sense of a personal fulfillment.
Absolutely. Not necessarily about money necessarily.
That's not always about money.
Yep. So I'm going to pivot a little bit. Tell us about your role. You alluded to it in the beginning, right? About your roles of public speaking coach and keynote speaker and trainer, right? So obviously you told us a story how that came about.
Yeah.
But tell us, what you're doing now with the community and for your business.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm doing quite a few things. I train CEOs. I work with organizations. I love the one-on-ones, helping people really craft their message. So it's such a fulfilling calling Because communication skills is very important.
Yeah.
So public speaking to me is not just going on the stage and speaking, but it's also what we're doing right now.
Right.
It's communication skills. Very essential, very, very crucial. So the idea to help somebody craft their message and deliver it, and then when it's the moment that they have to go ahead and deliver that message, and you just see it fulfilled, it's just a magical feeling. Like, wow, you are part of that process, and you just help someone to become a greater communicator. And that's one of the things that I do. I really feel that it's important that we help people with their communication skills.
Yeah.
Because this is the one thing that we do every day. We communicate. When you think about it, when you think of a tool, like a hammer or a screwdriver, what do you do with that? You use it.
You use it, right. Okay, what was the trick question? I was waiting all right, what's the punchline?
But you think of an instrument.
Sure.
Like a piano, a violin. It's like, what do you do with an instrument?
You use it. You play with it.
You play with it.
Right,
See the difference?
Yeah.
You use it and you play with it. And when you play with an instrument, you create a masterpiece. You create something beautiful, majestic, wonderful. That's why we love music.
Right.
It's all instruments.
Right.
Most people, unfortunately, use their voice as a tool. They just use it. They just talk. They don't use it as an instrument. That's why I always tell all my students, your voice is a musical instrument of communication.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
On that. What can you provide us a specific example? Let's say if someone comes to you, let's say on the corporate side, right? Tell us both corporate and then one-on-one. Like, give me an example, like corporate-wise with the CEO. Like, tell me, what are you helping? Are you helping them sell from stage or helping them communicate the message internally, externally for conferences? Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of the important things that I always like to tell people that oftentimes business owners will come to me and say, Isaias, I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to give a pitch. And I get it, especially at networking events. Yeah. They feel like they don't feel natural. I still remember a couple of years ago, I was at this networking event. Mm-hmm. You know how sometimes they'll have like this box or this hat and they'll pull out these business cards. Yeah. All right, we're calling Jairo. Right. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. Yeah. And I remember once they called one of my good friends. He's an attorney here in Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Great lawyer, very respected. He gets on, they pull out his card. So he gets on the microphone. And the moment he starts speaking, within 7 seconds, everyone just disengaged. Right. They're on their phones, they're talking, they're on their drink. They completely ignored what he said. And this is he's a very good attorney, a good friend of mine. Yeah. And it just broke my heart because here's the thing. You can be a great attorney, you can be great in what you do, your technical abilities. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a real estate agent, whether it's an attorney, or whatever your business is. But if your communication skills is at this level while you're technically here, your perceived value is going to be this. Yeah, that's true. And that's what I help do. Mm-hmm. I help CEOs, I help business owners, I help organizations so they can communicate more effectively. Mm-hmm. And with that, help them give them a competitive edge, create more business, and more importantly, to create more impact.
Got it. I love that. And it is both on the, corporate, B2B and B2C, right? For that
Absolutely,
matter. Yeah. Right. I love that. So I'm sure you've heard this before, but I believe 55% is nonverbal, 38% is vocal, and 7% is actual word spoken. So tell us, how do you help in those areas?
Yeah.
I know. I always look at your LinkedIn post. And you talk about using hands or no hands and all that. So tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a funny. Well, one of the examples that I always give. See, back in the 70s, there was this doctor named Albert Moravian, and he conducted these studies on communication skills, and that's where he concluded. When it comes to effective communication, not necessarily always public speaking, but just communication, 55% is body language, 38% is your tone of voice, and 7% is the actual content. Yeah. Now, people say it's debunked, but there's still levels of truths to it. Yeah. So, for example, if I were to say, Je m'appelle Isaias Rivera, et aujourd'hui, je voudrais vous parler de pouvoir la communication non verbale. For example, j'ai gagné. Did you understand what I just said?
No.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Now watch, I'm going to say the same thing, the same content, and tell me if you understand me this time a little bit better. I'm going to say the same thing. Okay. Aujourd'hui, je m'appelle Isaias Rivera. Et aujourd'hui, je pouvais te pouvoir la communication non verbale. Par exemple, j'ai gagné. Did you understand what I said the second time? A little bit better.
A little bit better, okay. Despite not knowing the language.
What did you think I said the second time?
I picked up. I just picked up
You picked up my name,
the name and all that, and that different things, and then you win. Did you win? And I won.
And I won. Okay, exactly. You didn't understand 100%, but the fact that I was able to use my body language, I was able to scratch here, my tone of voice was different. It gives you a better communication skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another example, I could say, welcome to the Dr. B Show. We are going to help you, learn the power of networking and how you can grow your business. Normal, right?
Normal, right.
Now let's apply some of these principles. Welcome to the Dr. B Show. You're going to learn the power of networking and how you can grow your business. See the difference?
Yeah.
The second point is more powerful because I'm implementing body language and I'm implementing the tone of my voice.
Yeah.
Very different. So again, that's the key principle that I teach a lot of people when it comes to your delivery. You want to implement these things because your communication becomes much more effective.
No, I agree.
And if you're an attorney, if you're a real estate agent, if you can communicate your message much more powerful and effectively, you're going to get more deals, you're going to get more business done.
I agree 100%. Tell us a little bit about, you spoke about public speaking a little bit. So how can that help a business owner, whether it's selling off stage or putting yourself out there as a thought leader? Tell us how could public speaking help a small business owner?
Actually, one of the secrets for business owners and even for job seekers, it has to be the power of storytelling. So again, I said the example that a lot of people, they don't want to come off as salesy. They don't want to come pitchy. And I get it. Because it doesn't feel natural to them. And what I teach a lot of business owners, you don't have to do that. What you have to do is share what I call your why story. Like why you do what you do. If you're able to share your why story, then the people, your customers, your clients, they'll buy into it. And then they're going to buy your trust. Because now they no longer see you as a real estate agent. Now they see you as a human being, as Jairo. Right. You know what? You shared your story with me. You share something a little bit more vulnerable. Now you're opening trust. You're opening connection. And now, you know what? I don't care how many accolades, how many credentials. All that's important. I'm not saying that's not important.
Yeah.
But when you can get to the human side, people buy into trust. So storytelling, your why story, your storytelling becomes a powerful business asset. I always tell people it's probably your most undervalued business asset to have your why story. And when I teach business owners to give your why story in a very effective way, their business gets better. Now they create more impact. Now they're not salesy. They're not giving a pitch. Now they're able to actually do what they love to do and share it in a way that it does the sell for you.
Yeah, and I learned that over the years that not just about like you presenting, but it's all about telling that story. And I think the better that you tell your story,
absolutely,
by proxy, you get hopefully more sales, right?
Yeah. And you do. You share it on your website. It becomes part of your origin story.
Right.
And people buy into that.
Exactly. I have a presentation next week, so I'll keep that in mind.
All right.
I'll text you like, hey, I told my story well. And all right. So, what advice would you give business owners looking for exposure or speaking as a stream of income?
Like I said earlier, communication skill is very key. And you have to invest in it. You have to really dive into it. And definitely the why story is becoming my most in demand. If you can develop your why story, if you can really tell people, share it in a way that's human, that becomes trust, that is one of your most powerful business assets that you have. And it's unfortunate that only 2% of the population invest on communication skills. And yet it's probably one of the most important tools you can have.
Yeah.
When you can communicate your skills, your perceived value gets higher, your sales get higher, but more importantly, you're creating more impact.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is really invest on your communication skills.
What final thoughts would you give for business owners on the fence of, like you said, there's only 2% that invest in themselves that don't think it's just not a good investment or maybe don't think about it as an investment. Talk to the folks that are on the fence about that.
Yeah. Well, let me just ask you, have you ever heard of the word Kaizen?
Yeah.
Kaizen, okay.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it. You know what it means.
No.
It's funny, a couple of years ago, I was watching this anime. I like watching anime. And they had Kaizen, and they said it a couple of times. And then when I looked it up, it means continuous improvement.
Oh, yeah. I know TQM.
Yeah.
That.
The Japanese word.
I didn't know it was Japanese.
Japanese word to mean continuous improvement.
That's right.
If there's one advice that I can give anyone, I always give everyone, is to continue to grow. If you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're not growing, sadly, you're dying. My advice is to always continue to grow. Personal development, self-development, and especially your communication skills. It'll be the greatest investment that you can do. The best investment you could always do is in yourself.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I got my doctorate 6 years, but I've joined like masterminds since then, and that's how it's gotten me to where I'm at today. I'm always continuously learning and being in the right room with others, right? So
absolutely, yeah. And it's good for your health. It's good for everything.
Yeah. Where can people find more information about your speaking academy and or about yourself?
Actually, you can go to my website, IsaiasJRivera.com. My handles are Isaias J. Rivera. You can get me on Instagram. You can get me on TikTok. Certainly connect with me on LinkedIn. And you can also visit my YouTube channel, Untapping Your Potential.
Isaias Rivera, everybody. Thank you for being on Dr. B Show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. Take care.
Hi, everybody. Dr. B here, Dr. B Uncensored. Hopefully you enjoyed that episode. Remember, you are one big deal away. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel now. Take care.